Welcome, ladies, welcome, gentlemen. Yes, it's a pleasure for me to be part of the Open Expo in Bern. As Matthias mentioned, it's my third visit, and it's always a great pleasure. So what I'm talking about our LiMux project. LiMux in Munich, and I'm no one who wants to sell software. I'm not a free software lobbyist or something like this. I'm just working for the city of Munich. I'm the project manager of our open source project, and I'm telling you that it works, that it's just the reality in Munich, using free software, using open standards in a municipality. By the way, Munich is the biggest municipality administration in Germany, because Berlin and Hamburg are real states and not only municipalities. And it's quite a challenge to get such a big municipality to free software and open standards. Why? I'll show you now. 4 topics for today. I try to stress on the main points. What's the situation in Munich, or what was the situation in Munich as we decided? It's historically a grown-up IT structure. IT structure means 14,000 PCs in 21 different IT units. The decentralized IT units are responsible for the operation of the IT of our departments. So there's not one city of Munich, there are 21 cities of Munich, as you like it. And then was one reason why we thought about alternatives. The reason was not costs. The reason was not that we are very enthusiastic about using free software. The only reason why the city of Munich thought about alternatives to Microsoft was Microsoft. The Microsoft company told us, you're happy with our operating system, you're very happy with our Office system, but now it's time to buy new licenses. You have to buy new licenses. NT4 will no longer be supported, and every new hardware, every new business application is only certified for our new product. So give us more money, and then you can be happy again. Okay, in 2002 they thought, I think, that Munich will pay, but that was not the point. Our politicians asked our city administration, are there alternatives? We don't want only one possible decision, go this way. Are there 2 ways maybe? And so we did our pre-study examination of different alternatives, not only Microsoft, and we decided. By the way, the pre-study was not only about costs. We examined 5 alternatives, ranging from a completely Microsoft-based solution for the future, desktops, Office system, and the needed infrastructure, to the other side a completely open source-based alternative, and some between. And as we examined these alternatives, we talked about cost, of course, but also about technical possibility. Is this solution, this alternative, really ready for use in a company, in a business environment? And about strategic factors. What are strategic factors? Of course, how deep is the vendor lock-in for this alternative, for example? Maybe I can give you one example. The Microsoft company couldn't guarantee to us that if we secured a Windows XP operating system once to fulfill our security requirements in our city administration, we are working with personal data of our citizens, of course. If we secure this once, they can't guarantee that after the next update there are no calling home functions and so on also. Though Securing once, do an update, securing it a second time, and so on and so on. Except we switched to a complete Microsoft infrastructure. That was the choice in 2003. If we switch completely to a Microsoft-based infrastructure running Active Directory, SharePoint, and so on, then it may be possible to get a hole-in-one solution. For example, a strategic factor. And after the examination, two alternatives were nearly equal, not in all factors, but in the summary of the factors. And we as administration could ask our city council, our politicians, to decide, do you want the short-term solution Microsoft, which means fewer costs in the short term, but dependence for the future, costs in the future every 5 years, for example, if at every time we need new licenses? Or, dear politicians, do you want independence? Do you want to give out more money now, but to save it in the future? And as you know, our politicians decided the last alternative, free software, and that's very important, open standards. Open standards for our desktops and platform open business applications. I talk about business applications later on. Why did we do this? Of course, the increased independence. We don't want to be dependent on software vendors, consultants, platform, external timelines. We want our freedom, freedom of choice. Increased equality of opportunities for small and medium-sized companies. The backbone of Europe's economy, small and medium-sized companies. We are not in the United States, where only global players are dominating the market. We are in Europe, in a lucky situation. There are a lot of small and medium-sized companies, and they should have the chance to participate in the market. 4 weeks ago, I was on the CeBIT fair in Hanover, world's largest IT trade fair, and one Microsoft lobbyist told, we are very strong economy factor. We have 33,000 certified Microsoft partners in Germany. 33,000 certified Microsoft partners. Strong economy. Yes. If you want to deal with products, if you want to offer services, you have to be a certified partner of one company. Okay. My answer was, that's fine. In Germany, we have about 80 million people who can take part in the software market about free software. They do not need to be a certified free software partner. They can just go home, write code, read code, use software, offer services as they like. So you see the economic factor, equality of opportunities in the market, one of our factors. Of course, as already mentioned, costs are a factor for us, not the main factor, not for the short term, but in the midterm or the long term, we want to reduce. Costs, the cost estimation, our spreading of costs. Training is our own decision. We want to focus on training for our employees. We can do it with much fewer money, but we want to pay good money for good training, so it's our decision. Applications, licenses, I'll talk about business applications later on, and office migration, I talk now. By the way, nowadays we have spent only half of this 12.8 million euros in Munich. So we are lower than the estimated costs, but the project's not ended, so I won't estimate it for the complete future. Where are we now? All our workplaces in the city administration are using free software. Okay, it's quite simple. Firefox and Thunderbird, GIMP for example, if they need it. But we have nearly everyone trained to use more of the free software, and nearly everyone uses OpenOffice on his desktop right now. The second step, the desktops will be migrated to a Linux-based client. Why 2 steps? Migrating to OpenOffice in the first step means reducing the complexity. We can train our employees on OpenOffice and switch the desktop operating system in a second step, and maybe someone won't even notice this. So first step, OpenOffice, nearly 100%. Second step, the year 2010, 2011, the next 2 years, will be increasing the number of workplaces. One small notice to this slide, the 14,000 PCs. I can additionally talk about additional 28,000 PCs in the Munich schools. 14,000 the network of the administration. Additionally 28,000 PCs in our educational network. Why do I stress on this? Well, in the past, if your children, for example, want to prepare something for the lessons in school, they want to do a talk, do some homework or something like this, and the school only talks Microsoft, you as parents have to buy licenses of one American software provider to enable your children to do their homeworks, to do them PowerPoint presentation for a talk in school or something like this. And that can't be. So in Munich, all our schools have Microsoft Office and also OpenOffice, so none of our parents have to buy licenses, have to pay license fees for the education for the children. OpenOffice, very nice stair slide I talk. Here you can see the development of numbers of Office templates. We realized during different analysis from 2001 to the last one has been done in 2008. Nowadays there are over 21,000 Office templates. I'm not talking about documents containing data, I'm only talking about templates inside the city administration. Remember, 14,000 PCs, 16,000 users, but we do have 21,000 Office templates. For example, the form, the holiday form. If I want to go on holidays, I have to ask my colleague, I have to ask my boss, I have to ask the secretary, and yes, if I have 3 signs, then I can go on holiday. We have 25 different templates for this reason in Munich. Just one would be fine. And that's a great opportunity for us. That's a great opportunity for us to consolidate on functions and on techniques. Migrating to OpenOffice means not only changing the technical platform in Munich, but also taking the opportunity to clean up the infrastructure, to clean up our Office templates. The migration to a newer Microsoft Office product wouldn't be this great opportunity for us, because you can reuse old templates. We can't reuse old templates. We don't want to reuse old templates, so for us, one great opportunity. It's not only for free software. It's an opportunity you can do now, even with Microsoft products, but for us, it needs time. As I mentioned, the economy is part in Munich's project. We can't do it on our own, so we build up our extended Office support center together with one coordination consultant, and he, the form of tenders, lets many other companies, freelancers participate in our office migration. We don't do this completely on our own. Some people, external service consultants and people from our city IT department run our EOS. Another success factor, the open document format. We decided very early in the process to use the ISO standard ODF. And it's great for us. It's great for us. We do not have any great problems, any big problems with this. We don't have the need of another ISO standard. Maybe you know that there is one. I don't think that's a really open standard, but that's a political discussion. ODF is our way to deal with documents. The functions listed here, if you are from a public authority, from a public administration, you know these functionalities. That's the daily use of templates, of letterheads, of formula systems, and so on. We built an own tool for this because there was none under the open source environment, under open office environment with these functions. Why do I mention this? It's an internal development. No, it's not an internal development. We published this under a free software license, an approved free software license in cooperation with the European Commission. We use the European public license, and we use as infrastructure the open source observatory and repository you've already heard about this day. Why was this an important step for us? I've been talking to our legal department, I think 2 or 3 years, to publish software developed in a municipality. That's a legal question which has to be answered. Can a municipality, a public authority, publish software in a field of the market where others, companies for example, take part? We publish it for free, as free software. You can download it, you don't have to pay licenses. And what about others? Others taking part in this market? Are they influenced? Do we destroy them, their market model, for example? These questions had to be answered, and we answered them together with the European Commission, and we are happy that we can publish it and have a free software license. By the way, the EUPL is like the GPL, but adapted for the laws of the European member states, of the European Union member states. Okay, our base client. The same situation as for OpenOffice. We have different directory services within our 12 departments or 21 IT units. Different solutions for software distribution. Someone takes a CD, go to every of the, for example, 200 PCs and updates the Microsoft software on this. In another department, they have a highly automatic software distribution system customized for many, many million of euros. But that's the situation. And it's an opportunity for us to standardize our infrastructure. The same on the application side. Business applications, okay, we need them. For example, car admission or citizenship, the typical tasks a public authority has to do. You can't buy such a business application in any IT market out there. But on the other side, we have also standard applications. Standard applications are software you also can buy in the market, and my most liked example is HTML editoring. We have a not good, but we have a content management system. You can write in a web browser your contents, and if you press the publish button, you can see the result. But some power users do also have really what you see is what you get, HTML editors, and we do have all of them. GoLive, FrontPage, Dreamweaver, every single software is in use within the city of Munich. So again, that's an opportunity for us to provide just one solution for one function in our Linux base client in the future. And of course, there are no service and support processes globally over the city administration, because every department wants its own Windows base client. In the future, there's one Linux base client. They can customize it, but it's operated from one service provider. The need for service and support processes. Again, not only a benefit of free software, we can do this without free software, but it's a great opportunity for us. We want to take this opportunity, but it needs more time than just switch to free software. What do we do with our real business applications? Many people think, oh, if I can't use this business application, for example, for car admission, then I can't switch to free software. No, that's wrong. That's completely wrong. Of course, we have migration solutions, the blue ones. Let every business application be platform independent, web-based, or independent of a special operating system. Yes, in the future, in the long term, it would be fine if we switch to Apple Macintosh. We don't want to do a next migration of our business applications. If we switch again to Microsoft, we don't want to migrate our business applications. We want to migrate our business applications now, one time, to independent solutions. Not free software or open source solutions, but solutions independent of one special operating system, independent of one special office system, and using open standards to communicate. But what's in the meantime, we have to be pragmatic. We have to look at every special business applications. We have to talk to the vendor to ask him, what's your strategy? When will be a platform independent solution available? And what is, until then, we can do some virtualization using VirtualBox, for example. We can use Wine, it's a runtime environment. We can use a terminal server. We have a broad variety of possible interim solutions, and we have to check it against every requirement of our business applications. Of course, that's work. That's a lot of work to do. But if we wait until every is our final solution, then we wouldn't even have started our migration project. And on the other hand, if there's no solution, even no interim solution, for example, CAD workplaces, there's no sense to run CAD programs in a VMware image or a VirtualBox image. Then they stay on Microsoft Windows for the future. Our objective in the LiMux project is to get 80% of our workplaces running under free software. But of course, in such a complex municipality, we think that about 20 minus X, minus a large X % of our workplaces will use a Microsoft-based system in the future. We try to decrease these 20%, but it's not realistic to clean up your infrastructure completely for Microsoft at the moment. Okay, what do we have learned in our process? 4 points on this slide. Of course, it's a higher complexity and range. You can analysis as often as you like, but the numbers increase and the complexity will also increase. What's the result? Mention it, think about it, and if you do an analysis, and we did it, be aware that the numbers will increase. And that's okay then. That's not a lesson learned for free software, that's a lesson learned for project management. The lesson learned in Munich is, yes, we have to do some homework. We have to standardize some parts of our IT infrastructure. These 21 nearly independent departments are not manageable, are not effective manageable. And we are doing some standardization. But if we are waiting for the one and only standardization project where everything is in optimal IT infrastructure, again, we won't finish our project as long as I will work for the city of Munich and I'm not in retirement. And I think that about 40 years now, from now on. Another point, the readiness for changes. Of course, the LiMux project is a technical project. It deals with software, open source software, open office. It's only a technical project, we thought. We thought many years. But that's not the point. We are a change management project. There are technical solutions for nearly every of your requirements, of our requirements, in the world of the free software. But what we have to deal with are the emotions of people. People have to handle changes, changes to their mind, changes to the way they are doing their job. Not the end users. The end users are happy if they can do the same functions now as before. But the people providing IT, for example, for the end users, the trainers, the administrators, they have to change the way of doing their job. Maybe they lose some knowledge, some Microsoft knowledge. They had a high level of administration knowledge and now there's an open source solution. They don't know about this. This is not a matter of technique. That's just a matter of emotions. And that's one thing we realized 1.5 years ago. That's important. Open source in such complex municipality doesn't mean finding technical solutions. This means finding solutions in a change management project. And my most important lesson we have learned, and the experience I want to share with you, is this one. We are not alone. In the beginning, in 2002, 2003, the Munich's LiMux project was the first big project in a municipality. They were the first, and the public attention was on a very, very high level. The press nearly once a week wrote articles about us. Nowadays, this has changed completely. Free software is one part of running your IT. Free software and open standards on desktops are reality in many, many, many public authorities within Germany, within Europe, within the world, I think too, but I don't have exact numbers. And that's one of the points. Open standards as backbone of our information society. Do you know what will happen if open standards and free software are cut off, shut down from 1 second to another? Don't use the internet, for example. Don't use many, many, many of the billiard automates in your public transportation system. Free software, open standards are part of everyday's life. used in many, many places from many, many people and organizations. And what we have to do now, we means, of course, the open source community, of course, software service providers dealing with open source software, but mainly you as public administrations. We have to do some networking. We can build a community of public authorities in the field of open standards and free software. We didn't have this opportunity in the past. Now we don't have to pay for anything. We can develop software in Munich and give it over to any other public administration, the same way around. And that's a great chance I think we should be aware of. And there are initiatives. Later on you will hear something about the Open Source Observatory and Repository. It's an initiative by the European Commission to deal with this. In Germany, we have an open source competence center to deal with the federal government and to give competence and knowledge about networking to others. And as Matthias told me before, there are also initiatives in Switzerland. There's a nice brochure. I read it before. If you go out on the left side, there are some more copies of it. I think these initiatives, this networking has to be done, can be done now by us, by public authorities, and as long as we are financed by our taxpayers, we should give the money back to our taxpayers and not only to one software provider in the United States. In this sense, thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions in the future, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. We have time for a few more questions. So I assume this project might have raised up some issues.
Of course, I have a question. Florian, you were talking about the opportunity of having such a big change project in terms of cleaning up internal processes. You were talking about the templates and everything. And so I have two questions. The first is, have you tried to quantify these cost savings which are not related to choosing open source software, but which are related to being more efficient in the end in the processes? That's the one. And the other one is, you were also talking about that switching to open source gave the opportunity to have local and regional tenders, to have companies in the region of Munich to bring in their expertise and knowledge to help you. The same question, did you try to quantify potential business volume the city of Munich created locally by switching to open source?
Give us numbers, please.
Excuse me?
Give us numbers.
Numbers. To the first question, we didn't quantify the effect of cleaning up our infrastructure without using free software. Why did we do this? Because our project is not driven by we want to use free software, but we have to find an alternative way to Microsoft NT4. So in the examination of alternatives and also Microsoft alternatives I mentioned in the beginning, the costs of cleaning up our infrastructure have been calculated in every alternative, not only the open source one. So I have no numbers on this point. On the other point, it's quite different to answer it with numbers as potential, because the Greater Munich area is one of Europe's biggest economic IT economy regions, and every euro we spend it's only just very few compared to the potential in the Greater Munich area. But last year we did a small summary, and our city mayor announced that we have spent 4 million euro since the beginning of our project just for local small and medium-sized companies. Of course, there was a big one, but they didn't get much money in the field of free software. 4 million euros since the beginning, and I think now from the 6 million euros we spent until today, nearly 95% are going directly to small and medium-sized companies in the local area in Munich, in Germany, and Europe. Okay.
Thank you. Maybe one more question. I have a question. How are you in contact with other cities, such as Freiburg in Breisgau or Canton of Solothurn, or maybe, as we hear later on, the Netherlands?
We have contacts, of course. The city of Freiburg, we are in close contact. They asked us before they did their choice for open office. Our cooperation partner, we have a cooperation partner who does exactly the same like the city of Munich. That's the Office of Foreign Affairs in Germany. They have about 11,000 PCs worldwide on 230 embassies, German embassies, and they switch to Debian Linux like we do. They switch to Open Office like we do, and we are cooperating on the strategic parts and also on the technical parts. So they build an Debian package, we use it, and the other way around. We have contact in the Netherlands, not to the current project manager, but to the to Fabrice Moos, who did it the years before, and we are trying to build up this network and to convince others to take part in such a network around Europe. Yes.